Not having insurance is also going to hurt.
So you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah,
you
your party
think it's
should have
important
voted it down.
for on the abortion piece for children with Down syndrome to have a chance of life, but when they are here, you're fine with the president denigrating them with a slur?
Abby, I think everybody at this table, at least for my generation.
What's happening, everybody? All right, this one honestly caught me off guard. I was fully prepared to cover something completely different today. And then this panel happened. And the moment it did, I knew we had to stop everything and break it down, because what unfolds here says a lot about where the debate has gone, and how certain defenses are being exposed in real time. You've got a familiar MAGA voice on the panel, you've got a host who isn't letting anything slide, and within minutes the conversation completely unravels in a way that's equal parts revealing and uncomfortable. The reactions, the excuses, the deflections, all of it tells a much bigger story than the talking points themselves. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. You're watching Lewis Connor. Now, let's get straight into this segment, because once you see how this plays out, you won't be able to unsee it.
Is lamenting the remaining years of the Trump era. In an interview with the New York Times, the California governor got emotional about Donald Trump's rhetoric.
I can't even conceive of 3 more years of this. It really is. What's happening to our kids? Their brains are already being scrambled by social media and everything else we didn't even talk about. But this is their role model? A guy who calls someone a retard? A guy who calls someone a piggy? This is our role model, the President of the United States?
Over the last 6 months, Newsom has been emulating Trump's brash, all-caps-laden, and often AI-generated social media persona. And it's not just Democrats. Listen to these Republicans who rejected the president's demand for a new map in Indiana.
The efforts were mean-spirited from the get-go. So, I think they get what they get. I wish that President Trump would change his tone.
I had released a post about my displeasure over some the slur that the president used. Words have consequences, and for me, it was just added to a litany of reasons of why this was just bad policy and not good timing, and wasn't deserving of my support.
That last Indiana lawmaker that you just heard, one of the reasons that he said that he rejected this map was when he heard Trump use the R-word slur. He has a child with a disability. And I wonder if Gavin Newsom, you think, Brianna, is hitting on something that is bubbling up here. When you have Republicans saying Trump is going too far, is that a sentiment that could hurt Trump and Republicans going forward?
I don't think so. I think to the state senator, Bo Boachek, who just spoke, I can understand why a parent with a child with Down syndrome would be sensitive to the use of the R word, and I completely agree. But I do think to his point about words mattering, words matter, but policies matter more. And if he cares about the dignity of people and children with Down syndrome, that he should want to make sure Republicans have a good, fair fighting chance in Congress, because it's parties like Congressman Moskowitz's party who votes against legislation that would ban abortion solely on the basis of Down syndrome. And so if you want to focus on the dignity of those with Down syndrome, words may hurt, but policies will hurt more. So I think he should have voted with the Republicans to redistrict.
Not having insurance is also going to hurt.
So you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah,
you
your party
think it's
should have
important
voted it down.
for on the abortion piece for children with Down syndrome to have a chance of life, but when they are here, you're fine with the president denigrating them with a slur?
Abby, I think everybody at this table, at least for my generation, the lexicon, unfortunately, uses the R word not to smear or malign anybody.
Playground in 5th grade,
no,
not
Abby,
the
I'm
president
telling
of the
you
United
right
States.
now, that is a word that unfortunately is just thrown around as if you're calling someone an idiot or a moron. I'm not defending it, but I'm saying that President Trump certainly was not using it to attack someone who has a legitimate disability. I think we all know that too. Calling Tim Walz the R word is not trying to say Tim Walz has Down syndrome.
Well, look, Tim Walz also has a child with disabilities, so there's that too. Charles, you were saying.
I mean, I think, we're in the wicked season, and we got used to Trump defying gravity. And we thought, a lot of people thought that was going to happen forever. I think that gravity is now taking hold. I believe that there's a political gravity that's happening with Donald Trump because people are getting exhausted by it. I think this is what was happening at the end of the first term, and I think this is where Newsom has to tread a little bit more lightly here, because emulating Donald Trump, by the end of his presidency, people were exhausted by Donald Trump. They did not want exact replica of Donald Trump. They wanted something completely different from that. And I think that, you know, Gavin Newsom has to figure out if he wants to continue the next 3 years as being the anti-Trump by being a kind of a mirror image of him.
Yeah, can he do both?
But that's
Ezra Klein has an interview with him basically saying he is the front runner for the Democratic Party. Yet what did he put out? An AI-generated photo of the President of the United States in handcuffs this week. He told the Indiana governor, get down on your knees today in a post on X. So, I don't know, on one hand, the president can't do it, but yet Gavin Newsom is now the front runner for...
This is exactly the point where the mask slips. He'll shrug it off when the president talks about entire communities in degrading terms. He'll wave it away when people from specific countries are spoken about like they don't belong. And when that happens, the response is never accountability. It's always excuses. And that's the bigger issue here. It's not just one politician saying outrageous things. It's an entire political ecosystem that has normalized it. The language gets harsher, the targets get broader, and the justifications get weaker. And instead of drawing a line, party leaders come on television and try to explain it away like it's all perfectly normal. What you're watching is the erosion of basic decency happening in real time. Now look, I'll be honest. I'm not pretending to be polite in my commentary. I criticize hard, I use humor, I mock hypocrisy. That's part of political debate. But there are clear boundaries. You don't go after people's race. You don't demean entire religions. You don't reduce communities to stereotypes or coded language. That's not debate. That's something darker. And that's where the difference is. What we're seeing here isn't sharp rhetoric. It's systematic demonization. One group is framed as dangerous, another as undeserving, another as a threat. And terms like DEI get used as a stand-in to question people's competence or legitimacy without ever saying it outright. It's not subtle, and it's not accidental. Notice something else, too. There's one group that never seems to be the target of this kind of language. No suspicion, no sweeping generalizations, no constant framing as a problem that needs to be fixed. And that contrast tells you everything you need to know. So, when people ask why Democrats are starting to push back harder, this is why. Because ignoring it didn't make it stop. Playing nice didn't slow it down. And at some point, you either confront it or you accept it. And when the response to accountability is mockery or deflection, that just proves the point even further.
This is sort of a chicken and egg kind of situation.
What are you talking about? No, we're talking about verbiage. We're talking about verbiage.
I'm saying what's chicken and egg is that you're sort of implying that Gavin Newsom started it and that it's fair then for
I didn't say Gavin Newsom started
Republicans to continue it when
we all know how the president speaks.
Yeah, exactly.
We all know how the president speaks. He got reelected with 77 million votes.
Do you remember this? This is a Trump post from 2024 where he reposts a truck with Joe Biden hogtied on the streets and Trump flags flying. So I mean, Gavin Newsom's point is, and trust me, I think part of the question I'm asking is, can he do this, right? But his point is that Trump does this every day. Now, all of a sudden, Republicans are up in arms. You've got Republicans like Peter Navarro saying, I went to prison defending the Constitution because of woke assholes like you who weaponized our justice system. This isn't close to funny. All you're doing is inciting more violence. Was it violence when Trump did it? And why are Republicans suddenly so offended?
Look, I can't speak to those Republicans, and I'm not arguing with you. We know how Donald Trump speaks, and he's very blunt. That's one of the things that people of America like about him. And sometimes he uses words I don't always agree with. But I'm just saying, for the media and others to now prop up Gavin Newsom and say he's great when he's putting out AI-generated photos of our president in handcuffs on a sidewalk, well, then what's the difference?
You sound offended by it.
I'm saying, what's the difference? I'm saying, what's the difference? You guys want to slam the president constantly.
Are you offended by someone saying that their political opponent should be put in jail? Okay, well,
it's not about being offended. You should never just preemptively assume your opponent should be in jail like that.
He has done his entire political career.
Tell you what, for what she's done, they should lock her up. It's disgraceful. Hillary Clinton has to go to jail, okay? She has to go to jail. You should lock them up. Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary.
All right, so tale as old as time. Lock her up. This was 2016. This was 4 years before Joe Biden. This was 4 years before the alleged lawfare. Lock her up. What are we talking about here?
First of all, he said should. Did Donald Trump weaponize his Department of Justice to lock Hillary Clinton up? No, he didn't. But did Joe Biden lock up Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, try Donald Trump?
The reporting is, in his first term, he certainly tried. And he had a different government at the time, a different cabinet at the time, and it didn't work. But I just think it is so interesting that memes and that threats of, or not even threats, just memes about locking up your political opponent are suddenly so offensive
it's not about being
to
really
the other side of the aisle when it was
it's about
fine
being...
when Trump did it for the last 8 years.
I mean, listen, A for effort on that locker up thing. Okay, but here's what I would say, right? At the end of the day, the game has changed. And what Democrats have decided is we may not like the game. We may find it morally reprehensible. But what Gavin has decided is he's going to play the game, because if you don't play, you automatically lose. And so you can play the game while also saying, I don't like the game.
Can you?
Yeah,
You're making my point.
You're
making my point, Congressman. That's exactly what I point.
I don't know if that's true. I'm going to go, you know, when they go low, I go lower. That's the thing that people are saying these days. The actual representation of that is this. How do you go to the American people and then say, kick those people out and put me in instead?
Because it's the politics of escalation. That is what is going on in the House that I serve in. That's what I see every single solitary day. I mean, again, right, you remove one person from committee on one side, the next year they remove two. You remove two, they remove four. They don't like what Biden's DOJ did, what Trump's DOJ is worse. Okay, and so it's the politics of escalation. And so Democrats could decide not to play. But then we lose, then we lose in the communications game. Then Democrats say, we're not fighters, we're not fighting. The reason Gavin is rising is that they look at him as a fighter. They may not like the game, but he's playing to win.
All right. Very quick.
Okay. I think that I would offer this to other liberals out there. The tit for tatting with the memes feels good. Eventually, someone's going to have to wake up and realize that this is fascism that's approaching. It's not going to be. It's not going to just be a meme that's going to be the response.
Lordy.
There's going to have to be more people in the streets. There's going to have to be more really hard decisions made about how you want to live and what your future should look like. And that's not going to just be yelling back at the guy who's yelling at you.
Next.
I've got her theme song playing in my head right now. Everyone knows I'm in over my head. Bonus points if you catch the reference. But this moment right here actually explains everything. Because the pattern is always the same. The moment you mirror their own tactics back at them, even lightly, suddenly it's outrage, complaints, and wall-to-wall indignation. They dish it out constantly, but the second it's reflected back, they fall apart. And that's not accidental. That's why there's this constant obsession with strength, with labels like alpha, dominance, toughness. It's projection. When people feel insecure about their own standing, they reach for cruelty as a shortcut to feeling powerful. It becomes a way to avoid confronting deeper discomfort, the fear that they're not actually as confident or capable as they want others to believe. So, what happens? They normalize attacking entire groups. They exaggerate threats. They frame disagreement as danger. And then, when anyone pushes back using their own words, suddenly it's too far, out of bounds, or offensive. That contradiction tells you everything, because this isn't about civility, it's about control. They're fine with harsh rhetoric as long as it only flows in one direction. The moment it doesn't, the performance collapses. And that's exactly why figures like Gavin Newsom are changing tactics. Not because they love the style, but because they've realized something important. Repeatedly extending goodwill to people who refuse to reciprocate doesn't de-escalate anything. It just signals weakness. You can protest, you can legislate, you can fight for health care, rights, and fairness, and still refuse to be passive when the conversation drops into the gutter. Those things aren't mutually exclusive, because here's the truth. Most people aren't watching politics every day. They see moments, clips, optics, and when one side absorbs punch after punch without response, it looks like complacency, whether that's fair or not. People want to know you'll stand your ground, and right now, one side isn't interested in policy debates. They're interested in provocation. So responding with calm firmness and sharp pushback isn't escalation. It's self-defense in a media environment that rewards aggression. This isn't a chess match anymore. The rules changed a long time ago. Pretending otherwise doesn't make you principled. It makes you predictable. And that's the real lesson here. If one side wants a return to decency, they can start by lowering the temperature themselves. Until then, expecting endless restraint from the other side is unrealistic and, frankly, ineffective. That's where I'll leave it. If this resonated with you, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed, because these moments aren't slowing down anytime soon.